Live, and welcome back to another episode of the Baseline Bums podcast. It's your host, Rob, aka B-Ball Archives. And once again, we got a lot of bums in the house, a beautiful bounty of bums. AJ, Adam, James, thanks for joining me this afternoon. This is the first time we've had four bums in the studio at one time. Guys, how are y'all doing?
There's four of us. Watch out. Watch out.
It's gonna be a lot of bums. Whole bunch of bums
will be on your lips.
Yeah, that's an accurate statement.
It feels good. I feel like this is long overdue. I'll take blame for that. But yeah, excited to be able to talk to all four and to make sure I dominate the conversation and hog the microphone all to myself.
That sounds about right. Yes. Adam,
Rob,
headset Senna.
Honestly, over there, you're looking a little bit like Tony Reale, Rob. Just
every
with a big
panel
beard.
needs a Woody Page. So
I mean, I think I'm gonna just kind of have to make sure we're going around the horn.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, we got some exciting Spurs conversation to get to. But before that, I failed to mention, guys, all of this is brought to you by Love You Hard TV. Shout out to everyone at Love You Hard TV and In the Building podcast. Make sure you're watching and listening to that. But guys, yeah, we got a lot of really great Spurs stuff to get to. We finally signed that last addition to our front court, Kelly Olynyk. He's coming to San Antonio. Yes, we bring in
Clinic.
Yes, sir. We're bringing a large Canadian down here to San Antonio. So I feel like that is the first place we need to start the conversation today. James, when we're thinking about bringing Kelly Olynyk to San Antonio, what's your first initial reaction?
I think it's a good move. And, I think we cut bait on some draft picks that didn't quite pan out in Blake Wesley and Malachi Branham. And we bring in a solid veteran player who's going to ultimately, just be a pro, be an adult, and kind of be that back end of the rotation player and stabilize the 4 spot. I think it's really a win-win for all parties.
Yeah, I think that makes a lot of sense. Yeah, we saw what Blake Wesley can do with some extended minutes. Malachi Branham, even though he was 40% from beyond the arc, a lot of his shooting is really streaky. And
yeah,
I think, cutting loose on those assets makes sense when we're talking about shoring up our front court. AJ, what were you thinking about Kelly Olynyk?
I love it. Absolutely love it. I am 1,000% with this trade. It makes me super happy. Not only if we get Kelly Olynyk and he plays for the Spurs, fantastic. But if we decide to move him at some point, either now or before the trade deadline, he's on an expiring contract. The Luke Cornett contract is actually a really good tradable contract. And then we got rid of 2 guys, Blake Wesley and Malachi Branham, who, when they were on the court with Wemby, they didn't get him the ball. They decided to shoot. And that was one thing that I absolutely hated about both of them, is that when they were on the court, the offense just kind of just stalled, because if their shots went in, then great, we're having a great day. But if they didn't, and then Blake Wesley, he just never panned out. And he was great on defense when he was picking up guards full court. That was fun to watch, but he just never took that next step. And at some point in time, you're going to have to cut bait and might as well get something in return for it. And also, Kelly Olynyk just seems like the cool uncle that comes and hangs out with you at the barbecue. So he's like, hey, man, you want to go to take a walk real quick? Want to smoke a joint? You know what I'm saying? And you're like, hey, man, my parents are right here.
So that and maple syrup make up most of their blood and DNA.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so I love it. I think it's a great addition, whether he plays or we move on for him. Either way, I think it's a great move for us because we're too guard heavy as it is.
Yeah, that makes complete sense. Adam, what are your takes on the situation?
Yeah, I think it signals like a couple big things. I think it means, we would like balance our roster positionally. Now we have all the minutes that Fox, Castle, and Harper can kind of handle at the 1 and the 2 guard spot this year. So I think it's big for that. It's balancing out our roster. We didn't really have a third even true power forward in the sense. You think about it, Sochan and Harrison Barnes are both, you go back 10 years ago, they're both small forwards in this league. So now you get a guy that's like a true 4 that can make us a big, big team whenever Wemby's on the court. So I think it positionally balances us, but I also think it signals like us going forward a little bit more this year. So this move cost us about an extra 3.7 million. So Branham and Wesley were both on the last year of their guaranteed deal. Next year, they were both going to be on team options. We weren't going to pick up either. So like this year alone, right, it's going to cost us an extra 3.7 million. And then we gave up like our fourth worst second round pick. We have 4 second round picks in 2026. So, but what it shows me is we're not afraid to spend an extra $4 million this year to go be a playoff team. And I think it kind of helps us stack up a little bit better in the West and gives us a nice depth piece. Keldon Olynyk's great. Like he's a guy that would have fit in really well playing on like the 2014 Spurs. He's a good passer. He's a smart team defender, not a great defender, but he just knows how to play the game. And I think he's going to fit in really well and help us play well together.
And to rip someone's arm out of socket.
That too.
Yeah, he's very aggressive, and I think he'll go out there, and if he gets his usual 20 minutes a game, he's going to get a few rebounds. Last season, he was 41% from beyond the arc. He's a good catch and shoot 3-point guy. So, like you were saying, Adam, we can slot him in at the 4 in a lot of different lineups. And I like that because we didn't have that option before. We didn't have another big outside of Wemby who could really extend the floor. And Olynyk really gives us that. And while I don't really love his defense, he's pretty slow footed when you get him out in space. A lot of big men are, so he's not, unique in that sense. But I also feel like, like you were saying, Adam, he's a good team defender. So I think that he fits the Spurs culture really well. I like his toughness. He has a pretty decent assist to turnover ratio for a big. He can move the ball well. I don't see why it's not a good fit. I like it for our front court.
He's been in like purgatory the last couple of years. Like he's been in like weird situations like Utah where he isn't like on a team that's playing for anything. He was on Toronto. He's been injured. Like if he can go into the season and be healthy, I think it's going to be a really good bounce back year for him.
Well, and Rob, you said something important. You said 20 minutes a game. And I think that's about the northernmost of what we can expect. I think as things shake out, we're ultimately talking about the guy that's probably 9th or 10th in the rotation. But to have a piece like Kelly Olynyk speaks to what Adam was saying earlier as the 9th or 10th piece in the rotation, shows they're not afraid to kind of go for it a little bit more than they have been in years past.
Absolutely. Yeah. Because if we miss Wemby for a week or two because of a small injury,
Right.
or we miss Jeremy Sochan, I feel like he is a guy that you can plug and play, and you can expect him to take on a slightly larger workload, and it won't overwhelm him because we've
Right.
seen him consistently produce 10 and 5 on good efficiency while being an okay defender. And that's not the end of the world. That's kind of what we need.
And honestly,
I've made this analogy in the past, but it's Matt Bonner.
Yeah,
There's a reason
41%
he was here
from
for
3,
so
man. 41% for 3 as a big man. Like I'll take that all day. If he averaged 8 points last year, then I'm cool with it. And that's all we need him to do. The floor is just a lot higher with him than other players that may be available. So yeah, you're absolutely right, Rob. You nailed that.
I mean, coming into today, our third biggest guy is Harrison Barnes. So like this gives us some much needed like front court depth. This is a guy that can also play stretch 5, right? On those lineups where maybe our opponent's 5 can space the floor some, and we don't want Luke Cornett having to contest too many threes. Sorry, I'm laughing at that because he is a 3-point closeout specialist. But you know what I mean? Like somebody that moves maybe a little bit better laterally on the perimeter. He can give us a different look and really does like balance out our roster. And we had one guy too many, if you really think about it. Like with Wesley and Brandon, we would have had 13 guys. Would that have meant like Carter Bryant spending time in the G League? I don't want that. I mean, so I think this gives us like a definitive 12-man roster, like immediately.
Right.
And I do think it does open the door for Carter Bryant spending some time in Austin if it means him playing more. But that's okay.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's only natural. I think the defense is going to come easy to him, and he's going to be able to be a really good athletic on-ball defender, really good point of attack defender. I just think some of the team stuff, some of the switching and the rotations, some of the quick ball movement, it's going to take time to get used to that. A lot of that's going to be really, really tricky. So if he needs to go to like really perfect his defense and while simultaneously getting more offensive reps, because let's be real, he's not going to get more than 3, 4, 5 shots if he gets into a game. It's you really can't even get into a rhythm. So if he goes down there and ends up playing a good chunk of time, I'm not going to hate it. But if we have an injury or two, we're going to be calling him up and he's going to be seeing some action sooner rather than later.
And with Carter Bryant too, he's kind of the new age project that everyone hopes that they kind of get. I mean, he only averaged 6 points a game last season, 1 year in college. So it's basically he has all the specs in order to kind of get to the point where we think he's going to be a great 3-and-D guy, but he's a project. At 14, unfortunately, he is a project, and a lot of players after, let's say, 8 become projects. And we'll see kind of where this all turns out, but I'm excited to seeing him locked down at the end of the first quarter yesterday. That was fun to watch. I mean, he definitely has to get used to the tempo. You can tell that the speed's getting to him in summer league. So, but I'm excited either way.
Well, and one thing I was noticing is he was put in a lot of positions where he was having to create off the dribble and be be the primary guy. And it's like, that's never going to be his role. He was 45% from beyond the arc at catch and shoot threes in Arizona. I think that's what we're going to see is more like everyone collapse on the best players on our offense. And then I'm here wide open. I think he's going to do good when that's his role.
And the points he did make were off of catch and shoots and off screens. So you're absolutely right on that.
The thing is,
caveat. Go ahead, Adam.
Go ahead. I was going to say the one thing with him is like that's definitely like what you're hoping his floor is, but he does athletically like float well on his fadeaway jump shots. Like it looks fluid. I think his playmaking and like ball handling definitely is going to need to improve a lot if he's going to reach like a different tier of player. But he looks fluid out there, I think, at least. His jump shot looks smooth. And the thing is, we don't need him now. We don't even really need him next year. He's someone that we can bring along slowly and just be used defensively. I mean, it's a kind of a bold comparison, but like Kawhi, like we didn't need him much offensively when he was a rookie, and he slowly developed more and more. And if we could get 60% of Kawhi with Carter Bryant, we'd all be happy.
I'm glad you brought up Kawhi because I wanted to kind of touch on something with that Rob had said, and that after Kawhi's rookie year, the Spurs actually sent him back to the summer league to learn to play on the ball. He didn't play the full time; he only played a couple of games, but he played and ran point the entire time. Not that they're doing that with Carter Bryant right now, but I think they're doing a kind of a scaled down version because they have more time to do it, where they're putting him in kind of these uncomfortable positions where it's not sink or swim, but it's okay, this is how you do it here. This is how that's done. And we want you to kind of show us what you got before we come in and develop you and kind of put our touch on you.
Yeah, I think that makes sense.
He kind of reminds me, like, and correct me if I'm wrong, I think if we end up moving on from Sochan, he kind of fits that role of being the guy that can defend pretty much all 5 positions, being able to shoot better. Obviously he probably needs to work on his around the rim stuff to be at that Sochan level, but it wouldn't surprise me if he kind of moves into that place if we decide to move from him at some point.
I guess I'm glad you brought that up because Adam, you mentioned it in the group chat and I wanted to talk about it last time. Sochan's due a rookie extension. What are we thinking that's looking like?
Not 250 like Chet.
Well, I mean, but you have to assume that the way he's developing, like, there's no way he's less than a $20 million a year guy, right?
I would have to assume that you would have to take the Jabari Smith extension and use that as a baseline at least. 5 years, 110. That's $22 million a year. I think that's about the ballpark we're looking at.
I think he'd get a little bit less. I think a little bit of Jabari's comes with the capital the organization feels like they spent on him, and like almost it's like a poker. Like you're sticking to the hand of like this guy was the number 2 pick in the draft. Like he
Yeah.
could still be this elite guy. Whereas Sohan's, I think he was the 10th pick, was it?
Nine.
10th or 11th?
Do
9th?
you know who went
So
before him, Adam?
who right before Sochan?
Yeah,
I don't remember right now.
it's Duran.
Oh, was it Jalen Duren, who you liked a lot? Actually, you wanted him
Loved.
instead of Sochan.
Sure did.
But yeah,
Sure
I do think Carter Bryant could take over Sohan's role. I think in a world we'd like to have both, and we could have both because we don't have to extend Sochan this year. I think what he is going to want is an extension after this year because then he's also going to be on a team option next year.
I think we're looking at more likely a Devin Vassell replacement than a Jeremy. Like Jeremy Sochan
Fair.
is, despite any criticism of the offense, Jeremy Sochan is the glue guy. He's this generation's, this young core's battery, if you will. If it's
He's
not
the Patty
Wemby with
Mills
his
of this
talent,
team.
then it's him with his kind of,
His aura.
you don't need Jeremy Sochan to go out there and score 20 points. You don't need to draw up plays for him to prove his value.
No,
But a guy like Devin
but
Vassell, who needs the ball, that's a guy I think that's on the chopping block potentially.
Oh, yeah.
With a Carter Bryant.
If Devin Vassell isn't by this point in his career a league average 3-point shooter, then I don't know when that's going to happen. I mean,
Yeah.
it seems like you should have had the years, the steps to improve incrementally to get to that point. Now, I'm not expecting that in year 1 or year 2, but damn, to be known as like a shooting guard that makes tough shots and to not even be league average at shooting the 3, that's
Great.
inexcusable.
Not elite enough to be a mid-range merchant, like, a De'Aaron Fox or a Kevin Durant or, someone like that.
No, because if those guys go 5 for 18 or 6 for 18, it's like you aren't producing enough 16 or 12 for 18 games. You're not doing enough of those to counterbalance those. We're just seeing too much inefficiency. What were you saying, Adam?
I'm trying to even think so Devin Vassell, it's going to be very interesting, like in telling with this year. I feel like there's just going to be a lot that unfolds with how much depth that we have and how much maybe with us not needing to rely on Devin as much to score, how much he can potentially improve efficiency wise. But it's going to be really interesting to see how we balance the minutes and how we balance winning and wanting to win while also wanting to develop some of these younger guys because we still have a lot of guys under 20, 21 years old who we could prioritize minutes towards.
I'm interested in what y'all's takes are because I've kind of been hashing it out in my head. What do you think the starting lineup looks like game 1? Now that we have, most of the offseason done in terms of acquisitions, unless something unforeseen happens, what's the kind of too deep that y'all see for this team as we start out?
I think the lineup that I would put money on seeing would be De'Aaron Fox, Stephon Castle, Devin Vassell, Jeremy Sochan, or Harrison Barnes. Right now, that's a coin flip to me. I think we maybe lean towards Barnes, but then Wemby, obviously.
Wemby's the good 6 man. I don't know what you're talking about. Luke Cornett gets that spot. At 4 years, 41, Luke Cornett gets that spot, bro.
Right. I like that Wemby energy off the bench. Yeah.
I feel like I want Sochan to be starting. I mean, we saw Harrison Barnes start last year, right? So, like, I think the thought process there is Harrison Barnes spreads the floor more. He's a better shooter. Do we think the addition of Fox being in our lineup and having another shooter there, like, is him and Vassell good enough shooting to have Sochan in there? Because long term, Sochan needs to be our starting 4 if we're going to see what our best potential is with our starting lineup.
But we could also start both of them at the same time too. Like that's not out of the question.
That's kind of where I'm heading here. And my thought process was that we're going to see, at least to start, we're going to see Fox and Castle as the backcourt with Barnes as the 3, Sochan at the 4, and Wemby at the 5. then that
I
gives
see.
you
I wouldn't hate that. I wouldn't hate that. I just don't know if Devin Vassell. I don't know if he's on that kind of contract where we're just going to kind of bench him at 27 mil.
I mean, it's just kind of the way today is in the NBA. I mean, like
I think we
wouldn't
need his
start him over
shooting.
Steph Castle.
I mean, we can start him, but by December, he's going to be on the bench. Like, we can start that way. That's fine. But I just see by December, we're either going to move from Devin or he's just going to have to come off the bench because Steph Castle is going to take that next leap. And Dylan Harper is going to have to play too. So it's going to be interesting to see what Mitch Johnson does. This is a hard job for a first-year coach, man. This is going to be a hard job to kind of figure it all out.
I just don't think that if you're Devin Vassell, you've done enough in this league to have the ego to where you have to be a starter.
Fair.
No,
And so
I
think
agree
he's
with
our
that.
best. I think he's the best small forward on our roster, though.
I don't even know about that.
In a lineup where we don't have that much shooting, though,
I don't know if I would take him as a small forward over Harrison Barnes. I want to, but I don't know if I would.
I mean, you're playing a lot slower with with that lineup, we're going to be playing a lot slower. So it depends on what we'd want to do. I'll tell you an interesting lineup though that could be like a foreshadowing of the future would be Fox, Harper, and Castle all starting with Wemby, and then like a larger four, like an Olynyk, like a pass first guy like Olynyk, who is a bigger four in today's game. So it kind of helps out with the three guards. I mean, you look at like Oklahoma City, they had sometimes Hartenson and Chet, and then their other three dudes were like 6'4", 6'5", and under, right? So we could
you saw a lot of
theoretically
Caruso with the four even.
Oh yeah. I mean, I can foresee a lot of lineups in that world. But at the end of the day, which one of them shoots the ball? Which one of them stretches the floor? Each one of them is a 35% or under 3-point shooter. And it's like, that's where I'm scratching my head because there's a clear way that you can guard them. And that's sag off a tiny bit, let them feel comfortable enough to shoot because they're talented enough to blow by you. And maybe that will improve over time, but I got to see at least one of those guys get above league average before I'm like, let's start all three at the same time.
I think Oklahoma City kind of showed you a template for, and the Spurs have won big with this template in the past. It's that you don't need to be a high volume 3-point shooting team. What you need to be is an efficient 3-point shooting team.
Yep. That percentage has got to be right.
Blast 45 threes a game. You can win shooting 20 a game. You just got to make 9 of them.
Dude, how many players have made insane money coming off that template? Like, I mean, think about
how many have the Spurs gotten paid that way?
Big fan. Gary Neal. What was that? Forbes. Like all these dudes got paid for just being like 3 for 5. Like not even like anything crazy, just being efficient in the right spots. And these dudes just got huge paydays. So like if we can copy that and get back to like that 2014 pass, shoot kind of thing. Like, I mean, Danny Green, especially, like how much money did he make because of our Spurs system? So, that's just one of those things that if we can replicate it and we can kind of get back to what we're doing, and Mitch Johnson can come in and kind of give that young spark plug. And I don't know what we're doing with Rashid Lewis. What's his name? Is that his name?
Rashard
Lewis. Dude, I don't know what he's doing on our bench, but I like it in summer league.
We brought Rashard Lewis into the organization. I didn't even see that.
He's
on the summer league bench.
On the summer league bench.
I don't hate it.
I don't hate it either. I mean, if you're going to learn from a great small forward, dude, why not learn from him? He was a great player. So it's going to be interesting.
He was wildly overpaid, though. I'm not going to lie.
For sure. Yeah, imagine if he the Spurs, though.
No, that was Hedo Turkoglu that got busted for steroids.
So I want to go back to something you were talking about. You were bringing up like the 2014 Spurs. I think that's still like how I don't want to say try and play, but we like to move the ball first. Guy that gets a good open look, we like to have that guy take the shot. I feel like we're open as an organization to taking shots early in the possession. That's like how we play. Open guy, take the shot. Like what I want to see out of us, I know we can play like that, but I want to see how we play when we can slow down and value each possession. Because I feel like that's what starts happening in like the third and fourth quarter. The game starts slowing down a little bit. Defenses tighten up and we don't adjust well in that. I think De'Aaron Fox is going to be big there. I think Dylan Harper ultimately is going to be really big there. Guards that can control the pace. That kind of is De'Aaron Harper. A
One
big
thing,
guard. Yeah, I'm sorry. Go ahead. I said
One thing
De'Aaron. I said that wrong.
one thing about the Spurs is, they got guys like Steph Castle, Jeremy Sochan, guys, Dylan Harper, even you can put in this conversation, may not be the best percentage-wise shooters, but it's important that they are willing shooters.
Right.
That's the first step of it. You look at them, you can nitpick their percentage, but they're always willing to put it up. And so that is how I, as someone who has played before, would think of, okay, I have something to develop here. This is promising. They're not afraid to shoot it.
Yeah.
The problem is Sochan should be, and I think he should be afraid to shoot it. But I look at De'Aaron Harper, like I think he's a shooter. I don't care what his percentages really show. I look at his shot, I'm like, that's a fluid jump shot. He's been hitting threes in his bedroom since he was 1.5, butter. You can just tell by the way he shows. So you don't think
guys
I don't
Sochan,
think
guys like Castle are good in the mid range. But
I don't think Castle's a natural shooter. I don't think Sochan's a natural shooter, but I think Harper is.
And that's why those guys are better in the mid range. That distance, I don't know if it scares them. I don't know if it's a mental thing, but that distance, it takes some time to get there.
Well, I think the mechanics are there. It all looks smooth when it's happening. It's just like we were saying earlier, we don't need them to shoot 7-8 threes a game. But if you take 3.5 a game, just be efficient with it. Yeah. So I think that it's going to be a combination of figuring out when to get their shot within the offense, when to fade away, when not to fade away, when to pass up on the good shot or say, fuck it, it's late in the possession. This is as good a shot as I'm going to get.
Yeah.
And I think that's a lot of that just takes time. But at the end of the day, I think there's a world where Steph Castle and Dylan Harper both develop into league average or above 3-point shooters.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. And now, since we've talked about kind of what we expect the team and kind of what we're looking at, Vegas came out with the over-unders on wins. So over-unders on wins is 43.5 for the San Antonio Spurs.
Can I say something real quick? No, AJ, go ahead. You look like you're itching to get it out. I'm sorry, I cut you off. AJ's anxious. Mouth is open there. AJ, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I was gonna say I think we clear that. I think we really do clear 43.5. But we go ahead, Adam.
So I envisioned us all saying what do we predict the Spurs record will be next year? I swear to God, my prediction was 44-38, and I had not seen the lines. I had not been to Vegas, so that's interesting. I went half a game over. I think the West is going to be deep this year. We know the West is deep, but I don't think you're going to see 9 teams and then a big fall off. I think you're going to see a lot more depth in the latter half, and you're just going to have a couple bad teams in the West this year, and you're going to see some of those teams be a little bit closer.
I mean, who can we expect in the West to be genuinely bad this year?
Utah.
New Orleans?
Utah. Yeah, gosh, Utah. So bad.
Phoenix?
I don't know if Phoenix would be genuinely bad, but they will be bad.
Yeah, they should be awful.
Portland's going to be pretty bad too, AJ. I agree with that.
Houston?
They should be, but they were better than us last year.
Well,
somehow.
I think that they went on a really crazy late season run.
They caught lightning in a bottle, and I'm not sure.
And we lost Wemby too.
Right, exactly. I think we had a lot of curveballs to deal with coaching-wise, starting point guard-wise, De'Aaron Fox-wise. It's we didn't have any of those.
Our roster is way better than theirs.
Dude,
we have a substantially better roster.
It's really hard to continue the season without Sedi Sudoku.
Exactly.
That people aren't really talking about is last year's 7th seed in the West, Golden State. They haven't done anything to better themselves. In fact, they've just gotten a year older. I feel like at this point we can say that cast has gotten a year older.
I mean, they got Jimmy Butler, and they were significantly better after they traded for Jimmy Butler.
Still a 7 seed. They did. Still got bounced in the second round.
Okay, so I'll tell you the teams that we should be better than next year, and if not, we're in trouble. Utah, New Orleans, Portland, Phoenix, Sacramento, and I'm going to throw Memphis in there too. We need to be better than all of those teams, like no doubt about it.
I think
we
we'll
need
be
to
better than Lakers.
I don't.
I think that's our tier. We're
Yeah.
going to be in the same tier as LA.
I think we're 7, 8, 9 seed. Like you said, Adam, 44 and 38. That would have been the 9 seed this year in the playoffs. I think we're in that play-in kind of tier. I would love to say that we're a top 6 seed. Maybe we sneak into the 6 seed, because if you look at this past year's standings, and this is not a new thing in the Western Conference, 2 through 10, there's not a whole lot to separate. So if you get in that clusterfuck, anything could go, one
Right.
game or another, one way or another. So
if we're playing for
44 and
seeding on the
38 is
last
a good
week,
hope.
if we're playing for seeding on the last week, we've done a good job. I think that's what we can also look at too. Regardless of what the record is, if we're playing for seeding, whether that's a play-in or not a play-in, then I think we've done a good job. But it's all going to also kind of predicate on how good Wemby is. Like if Wemby comes in and he takes that next step and he starts to average 28, 29, 30 points a game with, 4 blocks and maybe 12 rebounds, and then we have Steph Castle become that second superstar that we hope he is. I mean, and De'Aaron Fox closing out games for us. I mean, this thing might get pretty serious pretty quick. It's going to be interesting to see how this all comes together, but I'm so excited. So excited.
There's
this
a lot,
is the
there's
most
a lot to
hope
be
we've
excited
had in a
about.
while. Yeah, this is the most hope we've had as an organization in a long time. Like we have a lot of really valuable young assets, good players. We still have some decent financial flexibility. The one thing is we've really got to figure out what's going on with Devin and Keldon. Keldon's got 2 years left in his deal, but Devin has 4 years left. Thankfully, like his last 2 years are at 24 and 27 million. So like, I think he could still play up to that contract. Rob and I were actually talking about this. Like, is he worth that much money a year now after you've seen everything go down in free agency this year?
No, because his also role is going to diminish too in this what we have now. So I don't see him being worth that money. I mean, it's good that he's coming on the back end of that contract on a lower number, but I mean, he's just a guy that you view as just a really good tradable asset to get something in the future or include in a big trade. So there's going to be there is going to be someone pissed off at the trade deadline that wants out of their situation, and I think that's when the Spurs sell low and we get someone that we weren't expecting, like De'Aaron Fox last year.
You mean buy low? Like buy low on, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, that's exactly the mindset we should have, because we can't. I'm not going to look at Devin Vassell as a guy that's going to be really adaptable to a new role coming in off the bench, because he really wasn't able to adapt to his first role really well. So what am I supposed to believe that this new position coming off the bench and, minimal minutes and, supplementing what the starters are doing and kind of being that spark plug like we were talking about? Am I supposed to believe that he can do that? It's like if we saw that efficiency, then I would believe that we could see it in a reduced role, but we didn't see it when he was responsible for creating his own shot.
Well, and ultimately, I think that's, you've seen it with Keldon. He's been boxed out of the rotation and function. And I think that unless something changes, Devin Vassell might be headed in a similar direction. Now, he makes a little bit more money, so it might be a little bit harder to do that, or you might be more inclined to trade him, but it's adapt or die,
Yeah.
Like
He's
we're going to be having
he's a hard piece to trade right now. I think
we're going to be having to bring a very talented guard, whether it be Castle or Harper, off the bench. What I've seen the past 5 years of Devin Vassell is not the ceiling of those two guys.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
well, especially now, if you saw Dylan Harper come out and said, I spent every day with Manu Ginobili just picking his brain. You know what that tells me? He is a sponge. And if you go, hey, Dylan, we're going to have to put you at this. Are you okay with that? You're going to close out games for us. But the way that our lineup is, you're going to have to play that Manu Ginobili. And he's going to go, see, because he's been hanging out with Manu so long. So,
Well-
you know, that's how that's why I'm looking at it.
He's gonna say, "See."
I'm glad you brought that up, AJ, because I can get my take out here that that Dylan Harper won't win Rookie of the Year, but he will win Sixth Man of the Year.
There you go.
Wow.
That's my bold take, having not seen anything in it being July 9th. So
I legitimately think that he's gonna end up starting too many games to win that award. I think
could very
between
well happen.
Yeah.
I think between our guard situation, I think, you know, all it takes is one injury, one stretch where somebody's out a month. And then, you know, he's starting a game here and there. He starts for that month. He starts a game here and there. And it's like, you know,
What
all
is
of a
the
sudden,
limit on that? How many games do you have to start to be ineligible for that award?
I'm not 100% sure, but I think that if you start, it is like a percentage. I'm not off the top of my head.
I think Nas Reed started like a decent amount of games the year that he won it all, didn't he? Like there's been guys. I don't know if there's like a number that you can't go over.
I'll
Right.
Google it.
Yeah.
There you go.
It's
But
like
yeah.
one thing that I don't think is fully hit us yet is like Harper. I mean, we all know he was the number 2 pick in the draft. Like this guy could be a franchise guy quickly. Like you look at guys like Paolo, Chet, and LaMelo, a lot of these like number 1, number 2 guys are very good very early. Yeah, it's gonna be interesting. It's gonna be very interesting what happens.
There is no official number for that.
Oh, just
by the
whatever
way.
Adam Silver says. Got it.
I guess so.
Well,
Whatever the
there we go.
voters' vibes say.
All right, Leg. If you have enough aura coming off the bench, then you get it.
Pretty much.
But I also just real quick, I do want to touch a little bit. Like, I also into your same conversation, Adam. Like, I don't think we're ready for Wemby. Like, I just really don't think that we've realized what we're gonna see here coming in the next year or two. If he's locked in mentally the way he has been, and if he's hitting free kicks from 40 yards out,
Shaolin Wemby.
I mean, are we going to see just like this player that we've never seen before, and our ceiling all of a sudden becomes like 2 in the West?
I think you're hitting a nail on the head, and I got to give a shout out to Ghost 21. He said it's going to look like Shaq and Kobe except non-toxic. I think that could end up being something realistic. I'm not, obviously achieving a three-peat would be ridiculous, but when we talk about a really, really dynamic opportunity creating guard that can go get his own shot, get to the rim, and then one of the most crazy dominant big men in the league, yeah, we could end up having the ideal pick and roll guard big man combo in the next couple of years, because like you were saying earlier, Adam, we don't know Dylan Harper's ceiling. We don't know what he could potentially be. He could step in day one and be like, you know what? I'm dropping a 20 piece. That's me from here on out. And then you're like, what the hell? And all of a sudden, we're just like, oh damn, that's a guy.
To Ghost's point, though, we don't necessarily know that Dylan Harper is the Kobe. It could be Steph Castle. That's the hell of it. Like, yeah, it could be.
And also, like, my TikTok's been all over 2025 Wemby highlights, 24-25 Wemby highlights. And I forgot some of the shots that he made that just didn't make ESPN kind of thing. And if I'm still in awe of watching him play. And I just feel that if he's going to take that next step, because he averaged 24 points a game last season. So if he ups that like just another dunk and another 3, and he's at 30, like just
it's not even about like the stats for me. It's like I want to see better shot selection. I want to see him being a little bit closer to the basket. I want to see
not just Wemby though.
I want to see maturity that way. Like it's statistically, I mean, with us filling out our roster and how much depth and talent we kind of have, like he could not score more, but I want to see his efficiency go up and his shot selection improve.
Sure.
I think I want to see it improve around the board. I think given the fact that he's going to be more confident, more willing to take on a more veteran role. Because let's be real,
Mhm.
I think when you are at that year 3, you are a veteran. That's when you shed that kind of like, all right, I'm rookie, sophomore, whatever bullshit, and you say, you know what, I'm ready to put my big boy pants on, and I'm a veteran. And I think that, whenever, Dylan Harper gets that call from Wemby, he gives him that, hey, you're kind of veteran energy. And I think that this is that first year where Wemby can kind of do that.
Sure.
So if we see him, top 3 MVP conversations for the majority of the year, it would not surprise me.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. And he's going to win the skills competition.
He might cheat again, though.
Guarantee
I
it.
don't know.
I'm going to, on July 9th, I'm guaranteeing that Wemby and someone else to be determined, they're going to win the skills competition. Probably Dylan Harper.
I was gonna say Dylan Harper.
Yeah.
Kobe.
It could be. Honestly, I think he and Fox would make a little bit more sense just right out of the gate, just given how I think Fox would be able to maneuver that contest a little bit. But
Fox
I
would
don't
have to be
know.
an all-star for him to do that. I think Dylan Harper's going to be there as a rookie. So
You're right. You're right. That's
But I
very
mean,
true.
if De'Aaron Fox is an all-star, that means we're sitting pretty at the halfway point or the all-star break.
Well,
So,
how was
yeah.
Chris Paul there last year though?
Because he's everywhere. He's in his 20th season. They just like him there.
He's just like old. They're just like, yeah,
Yeah,
you're
they're
not
like, hey, we
really
need
a part
a
of this weekend, but we'll throw you a bone. Like
It's the opposite
State
of a
Farm's
DNP
here.
old.
No, they're like, hey, we need someone to buy us alcohol. Chris Paul. He's like, oh, I got it.
But yeah, I mean, I honestly, I think De'Aaron Fox, I don't know if his days of being an all-star in the West are ahead of him anymore. I think
Be wild if
those
they were, though.
yeah, those
Depends
days
on how
might be
good we
behind him.
are.
Well, I mean, I actually did a breakdown of the numbers recently, and I like what I see from De'Aaron, but I definitely don't love it compared to what he used to do in Sacramento, because I looked at some of his numbers from about 4 years ago, and his attacking the rim from both left and right hand is down about 50%. So it seems to be that he's settling a little bit more for mid-range jump shots when 3-4 years ago that may have been, I'm getting to the rim and
Protecting
getting
your knees, man.
it is, but it's also efficiency.
Sure.
It's also his efficiency's kind of changed a little bit too, and
Yeah.
he gets to the line less, so it means scoring a little bit less. Those easy points are few and far between when you only take middies.
I'm really glad you bring up Fox. He's like, what do we do with him? How much do we give him? Like, we are extending him. I know everyone's mentioned the idea of trading him because we got Harper and all that. And like, I'm with you. Like, long term, I see Harper as our point guard over him, but we are going to extend him. What does that contract look like? Is it just like max contract done, or does he give us a break?
I wouldn't be surprised to see a shorter deal. People are throwing out 4 or 5 year deals, but I wouldn't be surprised to see a 3 or 4 year deal.
I mean, if we could get a 2 or 3 year deal, that would be amazing, because I think that would line up perfectly when we're going to have to pay Steph Castle and Dylan Harper. And then it's just like, hey, you fulfilled your end of the bargain. We really appreciate you. We want a really good 2 or 3 years out of you. And then,
like, if we're looking at 3 years, somewhere between 130, 150, I think that's like ideal.
Yeah, honestly, and it probably behooves him to take that kind of a deal if he's only 27, 28. So he comes out of that contract,
Get another
30,
bite at the
31
apple.
and still get the next part. So yeah, I mean, that's just good business for both parties.
My guess is he's going to want at least a 4-year extension. I'm assuming he's probably looking for a 4-year, $200 million extension. Like,
well, we know what he's looking for, but we're also looking to maximize our assets and our potential, and that
Yep.
may not be starting De'Aaron Fox when he's 30 plus years old.
I'll say this: we have a little bit of leverage with his situation of like how badly he wanted to be here because his wife's family's here. Like, I just think all of that's going to be important. You don't pay a state income tax.
Fine.
He
Fine,
could
dude.
take a
All right,
he could
here's-
shave it a little bit.
Here's the offer: 3 years. Let's go 145, but you get free HEB groceries for a full year, and we'll throw in
Delivery.
we'll throw in a $35 gift card to Taco Cabana.
You know
No,
how Circle
Palapas.
K does it. You know how Circle K doesn't offer or honor the old Valero tradition of free coffee after playoff wins.
It's ridiculous.
Well, we'll do it for you, De'Aaron Fox.
Yeah, you get free coffee. Dude, that was the best time too. Sorry to gonna derail this for a second, but the best thing was going to work and stopping at the Valero and getting that free coffee, and there'd be a line out the door, and you're just like, you watch the game. They're like, fuck yeah, I watched the game. Dude, the coffee sucked, but it was free, so who cares?
Guys,
Right.
they didn't take the coffee away. We just never win anymore.
No,
like-
Circle K took it away. They did take it away.
I'm just joking, but like maybe they'll bring it back once we get some more dubs.
Yeah, that would be an ideal situation. But how we get those dubs moving forward, we have some questions because obviously we got a lot of talent, but how we arrange that talent, that remains to be seen. But yeah,
If
guys,
you're still listening to this and you're a Spurs fan, be very excited about what we have, though. There are very, very few organizations out there that wouldn't immediately just swap their situation with ours. Like the Boston Celtics, GM and ownership would be like, oh, yeah, we'll swap our entire roster for yours right now. I think the only team definitively that would not would be Oklahoma City. But I think we might have the second best outlook in the entire NBA moving forward. Maybe Cleveland would be a close third, but we have a great outlook as an organization. Also, if you're still listening, follow us on all platforms.
Also for me, I've already told my wife, I was like, look, Spurs coming to Dallas, we're going to that game, goddammit. I don't care how much the tickets are. I don't care where we sit. We are absolutely going to that game. We're wearing our Budo Spurs stuff, and we're going to make some noise because the last time I went to a game, we sucked, and we were tanking for Wemby. And, I mean, I think the final score was like 140 to like 110. Like, it wasn't even close. I even made a TikTok about it. So, like, I am so pumped. I'm going to be there. The arena's an hour, like 15 minutes away. I don't care. We're making that drive, and we're watching those damn Spurs beat on those Mavs. Suck my
Also,
flag.
To your point, Adam, if you're still listening, that must mean that your power is still on. And if your power is still on, there's a good chance you've got some solar energy.
absolutely. Thank you for that segue. And
There you
if
go,
you are
James.
looking for solar energy, then look no further than the Solar Scouts, the official sponsor of the Baseline Bums podcast. You can go to thesolarscouts.com, that link that we provided for you right there, and find out how to get you some clean, reliable solar energy. We all know the weather is all over the place. A lot of people lost power in these crazy floods that just happened in Texas, all over the place. And if you lost power and you had reliable backup solar energy, then you and your family were good. So I think it was really a moment where knowing your family was good, having that additional power was really, really significant.
Yeah, absolutely.
So what I heard of that is if you don't buy solar, you don't love your family. Do the right thing, parents.
We're not going that far.
Listen,
I'm just
listen,
saying if you
if
don't
you
get
don't-
solar power, then you hate your family.
No,
That's all I'm saying.
I'm going to take it a notch further. Rob, if you don't get solar panels from the Solar Scouts, I will show up at your house. I will show up with
And
rope
install them
knives.
yourself? There you go. But
James will
regardless,
come and install
under
your
threat of
solar
violence.
panels. Oh
But-
my goodness.
but it's a really good idea. Just be environmentally friendly. Do yourself a favor. Trade your electricity bill for a clean, fresh solar bill. And why not do it with the Solar Scouts? I'm going to put that link up here once again. Good people over there.
Don't y'all love the off season? I threatened to come to your house if you don't put solar panels up.
Dude,
Oh.
I mean, we got to talk about something. There's no basketball
it's-
happening outside of summer league. We gotta
It's either
talk
we
about
bring
it.
that up or we bring up John Collins and we
Oh,
bring
dude.
up Norm Powell.
I'm just excited about our freestyle episode that we do every year because that thing can get off the rails quick. I barely remember the last one we did. I was gone.
We got to
But
put
it
our
was great.
shades on for
We
those.
put our shades on for that, and it's going to be a great time. So just be ready for that. We try to start with a little bit of basketball, but then it goes off the rails quick. So I'm here for it.
Absolutely. And that's going to happen here.
Is on the rails.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, if we're coloring outside of the lines, that's inside the line for us. But guys, I think we should get dunky around here.
Ooh.
I think we got to get to some dunks, guys.
Now it's time for me to get dunky.
AJ, we haven't heard from you in a
Oh, yeah.
while.
Yeah.
What's
So-
a dunk you got?
So for me, my dunk, because we have the World Cup coming next year in 2026, my dunk is USA Soccer. Guys, these fields that we're providing for this Gold Cup that we did, if that's our quality that we're going to have for the World Cup, we're screwed and everyone's going to hate us. This FIFA Club World Cup that they've been doing, these fields are not made for soccer players. They're made for football players, for 300 plus pound guys that plant their feet every play. Like, that's not the field that we're looking for. And watching the USA men's team versus Mexico in Houston in the second half, everyone was slipping all over the place. I mean, it was absolutely ridiculous, the quality of field that they have. So I'm going to dunk on, maybe it's just the maintenance staff of these facilities, but these pitches are not it for soccer. And if we're going to be showcased on the world stage, we're not going to have a good performance.
Take care of your greens. Make sure your field is properly manicured, okay, guys?
A lot about grass.
Okay, so I'm gonna bring up somebody that I'm not personally dunking on, but they're sadly getting dunked on, and that's now the role player in the NBA and their money, because with the way contracts work now, the All NBA, All Stars franchise players and the number 2 guy are taking all the money, and there's not as much to go around for these guys. So I will dunk on Kuminga, and I'm going to dunk on Cam Thomas, because both of them think that they're him and they're not. Because they're like, yeah, I need 30. And they're like, we'll give you 8. And he's like, oh, and they're trying to find more elsewhere, and they can't find it because of the NBA and what the restrictions they've done to these guys. So gone are the days, I think, of the I was going to say gone are the days, but as long as you've got teams like Sacramento, they'll pay role players like $20 million a year. But I'm dunking on those gentlemen.
There you go.
I guess gone are the days of people getting paid properly.
The
And-
Tyler Johnson contract is a thing of the past.
Yeah,
Right.
for real. But now it's going to be how many people are going to fumble a bag because they're betting on themselves, but there's no market for them, like a Jonathan Kuminga.
The Duncan Robinson contracts are a thing of the past. Oh, wait. Mine was like, you know what? We overpaid you in the last contract. We did it so much, we're going to do it again.
Right. Why not?
Detroit did it.
It's like,
So,
you are
I mean-
DEI, and we need to pay you more money.
Yeah.
Technically, yes.
Yeah. Reverse
Um,
DEI.
I'm getting canceled.
So,
James, who
So-
you dunking on?
I would be remiss if I didn't at least mention Drake. I meant to dunk on him for his fake abs in the last podcast, but that was a little bit further back. Just what the fuck are you doing?
Yeah, dunk on Drake.
But what I really want to dunk on is that certain miserable element of Spurs Twitter that, like, 24 hours after the rain started falling, was on the Spurs because they didn't donate to flood
Dude.
relief in Curve Hill, as
Oh my
they're still
God.
just and you know who I'm talking about. I don't need to name names. You know
Yeah.
the people I'm talking about.
You probably
a
blocked him
miserable
already.
Just a miserable group of people that normally are unhappy with the product on the floor, but this time used a national tragedy to further some weird grievance they have against the Spurs. It's sick is what it is, because this is not the time or the place to interject sports into this matter. And to have the Spurs be the first thing on your mind when thinking about that, what are we doing here?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's just tasteless no matter how you feel.
As tasteless as Drake's fake abs.
To clarify,
Right.
you made it indicate you indicated that it was like people that we knew, like people we
Oh,
know
no,
that we saw. Oh, bummer.
If
I
you're
was
on
like, let's
Spurs
blast
Twitter,
them. I'm just
if you're
kidding,
on
like,
Spurs Twitter, you know the handles.
Yeah, you know
they're about that
who
I'm
they
talking
are.
about.
I thought you meant like
Ooh,
you know
Ghost
how
is
like
saying great dunk, James.
Oh,
There
Ghost
we
knows who
go.
they are too.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah. If you're on Twitter, you know who I'm talking about. and
Yeah,
I
if you're
appreciate
in the Spurs
support there,
Twitter, you
Ghost.
know exactly who it is. And I'm just like, dude, it was nuts. It was so nuts.
Yeah, pure craziness.
Rob, who are you dunking on today?
I'm gonna dunk on Angel Reese.
Uh-oh.
All the
honest-
Reese's Pieces
wait,
are getting their pitchforks
Are you gonna
ready.
lay it up, rebound, and then dunk it?
I'm not gonna do any me bounds right now. I just think that when she came off the court and smacked the clipboard out of the president of basketball president operations hands, like that was, in my opinion, that's like something you see in middle school basketball. You see like really blatant disrespecting the coaches, but never anything where you put your hands on the coach or like push a coach or smack something out of their hand. It just really screamed like this is a really, really childish little bit of tantrum or whatever to throw. And I know she's really passionate with how she plays, and she plays with a lot of aggression and animosity, and all that stuff is really great. But the minute you smack a clipboard out of
Can't
a
do that.
coach's hand, it's like, dude, now you're just acting like a bitch. Straight
Not in
up.
today's day and age. Not with all the cameras
Yeah.
that we have nowadays.
Right. I mean, I couldn't imagine, me being a coach on the sideline, just getting my clipboard smacked out of my hand. It's like, no, if you're a coach, you have to have some kind of control, and you have no
Yeah.
control if your players are behaving that way.
Please
can
tell
think
me
of some
y'all
coaches
saw the
in the
video of
NBA.
her ISOing.
Oh,
Have y'all
God.
seen that clip? That
Yeah,
recent
course.
clip of her like
Of course.
calling for an ISO and just
Of course.
loses the ball very easily.
I can think of a few coaches that would probably, if that happened, take the clipboard and then use it as a weapon.
Yeah. Oh, for
Right.
sure. You have to at that point. Like, it's kind of like when Chris Rock got slapped in the face by Will. You just got pumped. What are you going to do about it? And that's kind of, you're in this weird spot where you got to be professional, but you're like, I need to make a stay. I don't know what to do. Go to commercial. So that's kind of what we're looking at. And I think that's what happened with this situation. But that's ridiculous. You can't do that.
Right. It's like I've seen shit like that in like middle school and high school, but it's like, it's kids really not knowing any better. You're a professional athlete with, with a brand on your shirt. You have
Yeah.
sponsorships. You just debuted your new Reebok shoe, and you're
You're on the
Behave.
cover of 2K.
Yeah.
right. It's like
So was Carmelo Anthony
Yeah.
for whatever reason.
Yeah, I don't-
how
I
many
don't think it's
covers do
Carmelo.
they fucking have? I should have dunked on 2K covers. They have like 10 of them. It's like, how many do we
Rob, do you
need?
still play 2K?
I do a little bit, but I play other games now. They don't improve 2K enough for me to get excited
No.
about it.
Every
I root
4
for
years you
2K
can
to
get
be
it.
good every year, and I check the reviews every year, and it's not. So I just haven't bought it since like 21, I don't think.
I did just buy college football 26.
Oh, I'm buying
And
that on Friday.
I've been playing the shit out of that. By the way, Texas Tech, we have a great quarterback. His name's Diego Flores, named after my dog. We are crushing right now. We're in the Big 12 championship, about to play Baylor. We're gonna do this. We're gonna win the title. It's gonna be great.
We're in the Big 12 championship. Baylor is?
Yeah,
we're here.
Championship,
We're in this.
championship
Let's
Butt
go.
Bowl. I love it.
Yeah,
AJ,
Champ-
how tall
title
did you
butt.
make your character quarterback?
6'8".
You made him 6'8". Jesus
Of course.
Christ.
He's basically
I
Brock
gotta see over the line,
Osweiler out there.
dog.
Greedy fuck.
but Rob,
Jesus.
I do want to say that's a dope shirt. That Steph Castle Rookie of the Year. So I want to see that pose in a new HEB Mootopia commercial next to Wimby, and him being like, bam, like it's great for protein. Like I want to see something like that this year. That'd be so great.
Who's
Yeah.
part bear?
Dude,
my God.
I think that we have some absolute gems of HEB commercials on the way.
Before we sign off, I want to throw this out here. We're going to have a little quick meeting in front of everybody. What do you guys think about doing a bracket of HEB Spurs commercials?
Ooh.
So
I
we
think-
determine which one is the best commercial of all time, and then we talk about it. Just saying, we have a fun episode.
Would be.
Okay.
I
I
it's
think that we
July,
would-
So I mean, this is the time for it.
It could be
Right.
like
Off-season content for sure. Yeah.
yeah, like that's how into off season we are right now.
It's an idea.
We
I
just did an
I like it.
hour-long episode over Kelly Olynyk.
I think in the group chat, we can throw out a bracket's worth, a small tournament worth of
Just 16
commercials. Yeah.
There's
I
16
think
HB commercials.
we can find 16 over the last 20 years. We can easily do
I'm
that.
sure there's like a couple with like Manu, Tony, and Tim that are just elite. Like from
Oh,
like
yeah.
around 2014,
Yes.
like
Does this say cooking with Timmy?
and throw
That's
some
not a
Patty
question.
Mills in there. Oh yeah.
Ghost is saying some of the best commercials are with Kawhi. I'm not ready for that.
Yeah, mom made it. Oh,
Yeah.
It's good.
Yeah.
No,
that,
dude.
that indubitably hits hard.
Yeah, it does, dude. But some of those commercials are still great. So I would love to do a deep dive on those and clip those. That'd be fun.
Absolutely. Yeah, we will do that. And we're going to have our freestyle episode here pretty soon as well. A bunch of fun off-season content as well. I want to give one more shout out to P. Terry's Burgers. Tomorrow, Thursday, July 10th, 100% of their profits are going to the Central Texas Disaster Relief Fund. So if you pass by a P. Terry's Burgers or you're like, hey, I'm craving a burger, they're not an official sponsor, but I think it's just really cool that all of their profits tomorrow are going to the Disaster Relief Fund. So yeah, spend your money on a couple of burgers and eat lunch that way.
Go for a good cause.
Yeah, as guys who grew up in the Hill Country and played Kerrville, this is a rough one. It
It's
really
bigger
close to
than
home.
the high school rivalry, but yeah, we certainly send our best to the people dealing with that out there. Just terrible.
Absolutely. Yeah, and if you're still here with us, if you're listening along, we really appreciate you. We love you. We would not be doing this in the same way without you. Having your support, having your engagement means the world to us. The Baseline Bums podcast literally would not be the same without you. So we don't just love you, we love you hard over here. And hard. And that being said, that sounds like a good episode. So how do we end all of our episodes? Well, that's with a go Spurs. A go.
That was fun.
Bum, 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 bum.